Okay. And there's going to be a run through from various people involved with Schools of Sanctuary, and you'll hear from various teachers as well around the country. I hope you really enjoyed this presentation. If you have questions, would you pop them please in the chat? And at the end of the session, Quiva will run through the questions, and there'll be about 5 to 10 minutes available at the end for questions. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Humayun. Humayun, over to you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Sarah. So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see so many of you joining on this beautiful sunny day. So as Sarah said, my name is Humayun, and I am one of the Schools of Sanctuary coordinator. I am based in Waterford, and I originally come from Afghanistan, and I've been living in Ireland since 2016. So it's a pleasure knowing you all and working with you. So I would like to take a few minutes, only a very short while, to talk a little bit about Schools of Sanctuary. So just before I share what is School of Sanctuary about, I would like to give a background, a very brief background. So School of Sanctuary Ireland is an initiative of the Places of Sanctuary Ireland. And obviously you might have heard of Universities of Sanctuary, Libraries of Sanctuary, Churches of Sanctuary, Sanctuary and Nature and Heritage, and all of that. So this School of Sanctuary is part of a wider network of sanctuary, and its main goal and objective is to promote a culture of welcome, safety, inclusion, and integration across the society. And particularly for schools, it's really important to strengthen, to promote a culture that everybody feels welcome, and they feel that they are part of the community, and they feel that they can contribute in the school community. And also, the other thing to add to that is that the School of Sanctuary initiative began in the Republic of Ireland back in 2019 and rapidly took over almost in all of the counties now. And as of today, we have 34 champion schools of sanctuary and over 70 schools that are member schools, and then over 100 schools which are friends of schools of sanctuary, we call them. And then obviously there are many other schools every week hoping to become a school of sanctuary. I'm very confident that a few of our guest speakers will touch on what it means to be a champion school of sanctuary, so I will not talk about that. But the main thing to mention is this is an initiative which will be completely school-led, and we do not come up with a prescription what you should be doing. So this is a whole school approach, a very school-led initiative, and it takes every teacher and student to celebrate and to get involved and to contribute to this journey. So this is obviously a journey. This is not a project, as many other projects that the schools take. And this is very much connected to the school ethos and values and mission and vision of your organization. So Sai, if you don't mind clicking next, please. Yeah, so anything that you do in the School of Sanctuary, it's connected to these 3 core principles. We call them sanctuary principles. So the journey of sanctuary begins by learning about what it means to be seeking sanctuary, and who needs safety more in the school, and what are the challenges, issues people go through, and what are the cultures, name of countries, and how many student population from around the country is represented in the school community, and all of that. And it's a vast area, and in a minute I'll be sharing after some of our guest speakers the core elements of learn, action, and share. And obviously the other principle is action. So once the school has built an understanding of the need for sanctuary, they would be coming up with list of initiatives, and they would plan obviously this through their committee or through the help of all of the students and teachers involved, and they will implement those actions. And once they have achieved those initiatives, they would then share their good practices with the wider school community. And that sharing could be through social media or by organizing meetings and networking meetings with other schools to encourage other schools that this is something that they have enjoyed doing and they think that this helps the school. So in that sense, they would share their good practices and other schools will join the network. I'm sure that you will hear a lot of this from the teachers from champion schools who are going to talk about it. And there are some great examples that they will be sharing in a moment. Next, please. Yeah, so if somebody asked, how does a School of Sanctuary look like? And it's really around feeling, getting that feeling that, the culture of inclusion, diversity, welcome has been part of the school ethos and values. The moment somebody walks into a school, they will read information on their information board or on their equality board, or some schools will have inclusion boards and other, or maybe School of Sanctuary board, that there's a lot about equality, the importance of diversities, celebration of cultures, and all of that. So that is one element, the visibility and feeling proud of that visibility or that ethos and values. And then obviously some schools already do a lot of celebrations, including the celebration of diverse cultures that exist in the school community, languages, and so on and so on. And I'm very aware that, many schools celebrate Africa Day, and some schools have intercultural celebrations, and some schools will have Europe's Day and other days. So it's maybe for some schools, it's part of what they're doing already. And for some schools, they will learn new ideas from other schools to do. And one other thing to mention that the School of Sanctuary is a whole school approach. So this wouldn't be obviously the job of one teacher or two teachers. This is something you could begin from the very beginning by maybe inviting a sanctuary ambassador or one of our colleagues to present about the School of Sanctuary to one of your staff meetings. And then obviously you will have a committee of students and teachers who will lead the initiative. And obviously the idea is that everybody will stand against prejudice and racism, and they would learn together about what it means to be seeking sanctuary, or what it means to be giving a feeling of welcome for every student, regardless of their language, religion, race, or culture. So that's really everything in a nutshell about Schools of Sanctuary from my side. At this stage, I'm very proud and excited to invite Mark Kelly. So Mark Kelly is one of the teachers from one of our champion School of Sanctuary in Callan, in Kilkenny. Their school was awarded with the champion status, and he has been sharing about their School of Sanctuary journey in numerous occasions. And that's one thing we do. Once the schools achieve the champion status, we invite them to kindly share some of their good practices with other schools and teachers, so that they will be learning and they will be excited about this as well. So welcome, Mark Kelly.
Thanks, Humayun. And hello to everyone. I'm coordinator, as Humayun said, in my school, Bunscoil Macaulay Rice, which is in Kilkenny, just 15 minutes outside the city. We are an Edmund Rice school, one of 96 schools across the country. And I suppose one of our guiding principles is that we are an inclusive school. So the School of Sanctuary fits very much into what we stand for. And all organisations and all schools, I suppose, would testify to this. In 2019, like many of your schools, we had an influx of refugee families to our schools. And it was in 2020 then I did some research about, trying to find ways to integrate our new students. And it was then I came across the Schools of Sanctuary. I was at a similar meeting to this one in early 2020, and I suppose I was inspired by the guest speaker at that time to sign the pledge and to take my school on this journey. It has been an amazing journey, 4 years now, and it has been, I suppose, as fulfilling as it was back then and to now. And I suppose looking back on my career to date, it's my proudest moment. And I'm sure in 30 years' time, when I look back, you know, it probably will be still the proudest moment, taking my school on the School of Sanctuary initiative. Many of you today might be thinking, you know, it sounds like a lot of work, or you mightn't be comfortable maybe undertaking a whole school project. Schools are busy places and we're all involved in lots of activities, but it's a big opportunity to you in a number of ways, and one of which is personally and on a professional level. Since becoming the School of Sanctuary in Kilkenny, and that I would have spoken local radio, Irish Times came out to do an interview with myself in the school. I would regularly speak at staff meetings and assemblies and visit the local secondary school to give a talk, and all of this is CV material. And many of you would like to go on to leadership positions in your school, I've no doubt, in the future. It might be a post holder, assistant principal, deputy, or even future principal. And we will have to sit down at interview stage and you'll be asked the questions of, what have you done to show leadership in your school, or what have you done to instill that ethos in your school? And there's no better way than to describe that by saying that you have achieved a champion School of Sanctuary Award for your school. And just to give more context, I went for an assistant principal in my school just there in June gone by, and I got the assistant principal job in my school. And I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have got that job without the work coordinating the program in our school, because it holds huge value. All principals want, you know, to be cementing their legacy as a welcoming school. We all say that in our mission statement, but to actually go and get a national award, that's holds a lot of weight in your school. So from a professional point of view, it's a huge opportunity for you to take on this in your school. From a school's point of view then, our school roll numbers have increased because of achieving the award. There's parents outside our parishes trying to enroll in our school for the last 3 or 4 years. We're oversubscribed, but if you're in a small school, or maybe you're worried about your numbers or future numbers, it's a great opportunity to boost those numbers. You know, parents research schools. They want to send their children to safe and welcoming schools. So your roll numbers would definitely boost having that Champion School of Sanctuary on your school website. But the biggest reason to get involved is, I suppose, the impact this has on your refugee pupils in your school. Every year, our past pupils, our refugee pupils now gone to secondary school, every single year they drop into our school. And only 3 weeks ago, when we opened up, they called over on their lunchtime break to check in on us and see how we're doing, and, you know, thanking us for the work that they have done. It's hard to believe, you know, when they came to our school first, and like many of your schools, the shy children, little English, you know, what they've gone through, nervous. And then to see them 4 years later, confident and great personalities. One young that is looking to be a solicitor, another is hoping to join the Navy, another is going to be a translator with the government, he tells me. You know, and all of those, you know, I look at the confidence that they have today, and looking back, that's down to the initiatives that we have done through the Schools of Sanctuary. When you're going to be assessed for this, you will have a monitoring day. And it was those pupils that came back to our school and led our team on a tour of our school and spoke at that monitoring day of what it meant, that the work that we've done, how it meant to, what it meant to themselves and their families. And I suppose it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe when you start off the program, the initiatives you roll out, what it means to them and their families. And each year in our school, we have International Day, and it's the Ukrainian families and Syrian families that make so much effort, freshly baking fresh food in the mornings, coming in and giving giving talks to other parents in the school. And they do that because what it meant to them. And I suppose you look back in your careers, you know, you always will remember doing this. It's something that you'll never regret. And I would encourage you all to sign up. And what I would say is you're not on your own. There's, as was said at the start, there's 34 champion schools at the moment, and each champion school would have their Padlet or portfolio online for you to view. And it's broken down into 3, you know, sections: learn, action, and share. When I started out, I think there was 2 schools to model, and now you have at least 34. So there's no reinventing the wheel. All the ideas are there, and the team would always encourage schools to share best practice. So go on to the Padlets of other schools, use the ideas. And, you know, there's a great team, there's a great support network there. And it's not something that you go off and try to make up things yourself. It's something that you just go onto your Padlet, look at the ideas and freely adapt them to your school. If there's any issues or any questions you have, you're looking to guest speakers, the Schools of Sanctuary and have a great support network. They're always on the phone to help. So just to, I suppose, to sum up, for 3 reasons: professionally, point of view, is a great opportunity. You know, you are going to be sitting down in interviews in the future, I'm sure, for many of you. And this is certainly many questions you can answer through what you've done in your school roll numbers, and I suppose how people view your school on a website. You know, our school, the town, always talks about that great school as a school of sanctuary. They always mention that buzzword now, and it's great to have. And I suppose from your students' point of view, your refugee children, what you have done for themselves and their families, that they come back every year to our school to thank you, to check in you. You know, that's really why you do the job at teaching. I don't think you do it for the money. I think you definitely do it for the fulfillment and satisfaction. And taking on this journey, you know, you'll get that in buckets and spades. So I'd like to wish you all very well on the journey. It's something you won't regret, and I would encourage you all to take part. It's definitely going to be something that you look back in your career and definitely be proud about. So I'll hand you back to Humayun and Tiffy, and hopefully I have inspired many of you to take part in this definitely worthwhile initiative. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. You're an amazing inspiration to all of us, and many schools would have thanked Mark in the past for being inspired by what he shared in previous webinars. So thank you so much, Mark. That was wonderful, amazing sharing. So the next guest speaker is do we click next? Yeah, thank you. So it's Niamh O'Brien and Mike Hanley from Scoil Breda Shantala. So they are the first champion school of sanctuary in Galway. So let's welcome Galway here then.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Hanley from Scoil Breda Shantala, and along with Niamh O'Brien and Frank Kane, who's our principal, we're part of the teacher team of the School of Sanctuary. The less important part of the team, I might add. And our ethos in the school is we care, which of course fits in perfectly with the School of Sanctuary. And we're a DEIS school, inner city DEIS school in Galway, which obviously then, by being an inner city DEIS school, we're a very diverse student population. So we have children from all over the world, many different nationalities and backgrounds. And as a result, we try and incorporate inclusion and welcome the kids and integrate any kid that comes into our school. But our big success, I think, really has been the school ambassadors. Everything we do in our school goes through the ambassadors. So that makes your teaching job much easier as a role as a teacher, because the students are amazing and they come up with all the initiatives and all the ideas to work with it. So I'll give you a little idea what they do during the year and that. And really, I don't take any credit for this, either does Frank or Niamh, because the students come to us with all the ideas. So if you're worried about workload, I wouldn't, because you'll just get such reward with students, your ambassadors coming up to you, giving you ideas, and you'll be so inspired with what they come up with. Because if it was left to the 3 teachers, and we're brilliant and all. But if it was left to us, we wouldn't come up with near as much ideas as the students came up with. And I can honestly say all the ideas in our school, besides the ones, of course, that came directly from School of Sanctuary, which we'll get into as well, came from the students. So, for example, our School of Sanctuary ambassadors are made up of students from 5th and 6th class. So they hopefully reflect the diverse community that we have. So the present children who were 5th class kids last year recently took in applications and did interviews to take in children from 5th class to make up for the shortfall of the kids that have moved on to secondary school. And they recently completed those interviews, rigorous interviews, I might add, last week. And I was kind of like, whoa, that's a tough questions they're asking. Like, what skills can you bring to being a School of Sanctuary ambassador? And I was like, whoa, tough question for an 11 or 12-year-old. But of course, it's amazing because they came to us on Friday before an assembly where we all talked, and again these children talked, and they had their team together, and they were so brilliant. They didn't just have children who were diverse in their backgrounds or nationalities. They also had a boy on the as a new ambassador this year who has autism, and they saw that he had a skill that he would be able, any new child coming into the school seeking sanctuary, and we have many, he'd be able to help a child that has autism and understand them and maybe be their pair buddy. I'll tell you about pair buddies in a second. So they stood up in assembly and they talked about that. They'll also be going around this week to all the classes to explain what a School of Sanctuary is, what we do, the purpose. They'll have a slideshow about being a refugee, and they'll really cover that amazingly. And the boy with autism is going to go around to the senior classes and speak about having autism and its strengths and how we can function with that. So that's one thing with that. So they had, as I said, they finished the interviews, but some of the roles that they do during the year is if a child comes into the school, the first thing a teacher does is they get in contact with our School of Sanctuary ambassadors, and they do a tour of the school with these new children. And if, of course, they speak the same language, often a lot of children come into our school mightn't have English as their primary language. So we might have somebody on that team at School of Sanctuary ambassadors who has their language and can help them and make them feel a bit more comfortable if they're speaking Ukrainian or any language that they may speak. And that, of course, makes the child feel welcome and included, and it helps them integrate into our school. So that's the first job they do. They give them a booklet then, and sometimes they translate that, but they mightn't always be able to do that. But a booklet, welcome booklet for the school, which contains all the information about our school. And again, if you're worried about that being a big effort, making this booklet, we made that booklet a few years ago, and then it just needs to be updated with the new information or any new websites or names of teachers. Once it's done, and again, the children made that booklet, so it wasn't like I sat there for 20 hours making that. You'd be shocked at how, I'm sure you were aware of how many kids in your school might have amazing IT skills, and they come up with an amazing booklet, and then all we have to do is print it out. And the kids just let me know, the children let me know if we need 10 more booklets for the next 10 children. So the tours and the booklets would be a big deal, especially this time of year as new children come in. Another one would be pair buddies. That's a big thing we have in our school. So we try and pair our ambassadors off with new kids who come into the school, so that if they need somebody for advice, or the teachers, especially down the junior end, if they need somebody to come down and, give them a little pep talk or help them out, or, just a bit of comfort, the ambassadors will do that. Once or twice a week, depending on the classes, they'll go down and be reading buddies for kids down in the junior end and help them with that, which the teachers are really think is amazing. Now, of course, being a School of Sanctuary gives you a certain profile. So last year, for example, Teresa Mannion with RTE came in and did a piece in our school for Nationwide on us being a School of Sanctuary. Now, there's two amazing things with that. We felt such pride in that, but also it increases, as Mark was saying, it increases your school's profile. And people were in contact all the time saying, geez, your school is very proactive and, great at integrating children. And the children the ambassadors who spoke on the day, because they weren't interested really. They didn't put my interview or Neve's interview on RT. They were much more interested, and rightly so, with the ambassadors' interviews, because they were so articulate and much more engaging than we were. So and I wasn't offended by that. And RTE, did a big piece on that, and we were really proud of that, and our ambassadors were proud. So this is a mutually beneficial thing. The children that come into the school benefit from our ambassadors and us being a school of sanctuary, and of course we benefit, like Mark said as well, because it looks great for the school and the profile of the school. Last year as well, the Department of Education came in to make a documentary in the school, again connected to us being a school of sanctuary. And that I haven't seen the finished product of that, but that again, we were very proud of that, and our ambassadors did a great job. And they talked on the day about becoming a school of sanctuary and what it meant, and how they help with all the various things I'm mentioning now. They mentioned to RTE in the documentary, which was great. They also did a talk up in the education centre to principals from all over Galway, promoting the school of sanctuary, but also letting everyone know, because the West, we don't have as many schools of sanctuary as, say, the Southeast, but we're working on it. And they talked in the department, in the education centre then, and it was amazing to hear them talk. So at the very least, they're standing up in front of people, they're speaking, they're getting great skills with that'll stand to them when they go forward. They represent our school in various events around Galway, so it's always the school of sanctuary children that will be considered if they have to do a talk or go into town and meet politicians, and that happens quite regularly, and they're always very good for that. Charity is another one that I'm sure they'll come to us this year again, the School of Sanctuary Children, with charity ideas, whether it's bake sales and charity for Gaza or the Ukraine. And they've done this over the last few years, and cancer charities, and they've raised thousands of euros in money for various charities. And that, again, I know they'll come to me with that, whether it's a bake sale idea or a school disco or whatever, and I won't have to do anything. I know that'll happen. And of course, there's the School of Sanctuary initiatives themselves, like the Wear Red for anti-racism, and we get to obviously dive into that, and there's great support for that in our school. And then that led to our children ambassadors they came up with the idea of inspiring people who fought against racism, like Frederick Douglass or Martin Luther King or Daniel O'Connell in Fighting Prejudice. And they went around to various classes doing projects and that. And that was completely on their own bat. And they came up with the idea, did the slideshows, went around. They did that on Wear Red for Racism Day. And we have an international day every year. And that's amazing. And we have food from all over the world there, which I indulge in big time. And the children are, again, lead that. And they do projects and do performances, whether it's music, dance, and food. It's just an amazing day. We have that at the end of every year. So we also became a champion school of sanctuary 2 years ago, and we went up with the ambassadors and we had an amazing day. And the children still come into the school that were there that day and talk about how much pride they have in doing that. And even a couple of children from a local secondary school who were our school ambassadors have inquired about their school, their secondary school, becoming School of Sanctuary as well. So fingers crossed the secondary schools will engage with us, and we hopefully will make that happen and have a few more schools joining. And again, it's just amazing. It's always inspiring to hear, like from Mark there earlier and from all the different schools, how inspiring it is to hear the different initiatives and projects, and just looking at the WhatsApp group and the various events that are happening. And of course, we're going to steal and plagiarize some of those ideas and put them into our school, because if they work in one, they'll work in another. But I would recommend any school to join, because it's just been so rewarding for me as a teacher. I know Neve, who can't be here today, she gets great joy in it as well. And Frank takes great pride in her school being a champion school of sanctuary. And more importantly, the children, both the children who seek refuge and sanctuary and the children who help them integrate, they all benefit And it's just so inspiring. They're coming up to me today with ideas, and we're just going to have a great year with the President Ambassador team, because I know they're going to be coming up with amazing initiatives which the school will benefit and we'll all benefit as a result. So I just like to thank everyone involved that have helped us on our journey at the School of Sanctuary, and long may it continue, and I hope we get more and more schools involved. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Good Magat, Michael.
Thank you.
It's been again a wonderful inspiration. And one thing that I think Mike forgot to mention is that his school joined a School of Sanctuary Across the Border initiative. And it was wonderful sharing of good practices across the island of Ireland. And then schools at the end, towards the end of the project, they came to Cheshire Beatty Library, and it was again a wonderful celebration where Sanctuary ambassadors and students came from different countries to talk about their cultures, bringing all objects, you know, that they could talk about. It was amazing. So thank you so much, Mike. And I'm very sure that if some of you were hoping to contact Mike, Mark, or the next speakers, we will be very happy to connect you. So now, wonderful. So we have Sarah Corcoran from Mercy Secondary School, which is the first secondary school which got the award of Champion School of Sanctuary in Kilbeggan. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Amayan.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so we are a secondary school in Kilbeggan in County Westmeath, and we have a school population of close to 700 students. Last year, we moved into a brand new school building, having been waiting for a long time. So we have lots of extra facilities available to us now that we didn't have before, which has greatly benefited also our Sanctuary initiative. We were awarded our champion status around this time last year. We had our monitoring visit in May 2023, and we were awarded our champion status then in September 2023. So it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. And yes, so I suppose some things that have benefited our school being a school of sanctuary. Firstly, like the two gentlemen before me mentioned, sorry, I'm just going to close the window. Like the two men before me mentioned, the pride, I heard that word used a lot by both guys, and I definitely echo that sentiment. A very proud moment recently in our school was the Leaving Cert results. It's just so amazing to see students who came to our school with very little English and who were supported by our Sanctuary team and our great team of teachers and students achieving their best and going on to bigger and better things. And yeah, just the entire Sanctuary initiative is one that brings us as a school great pride. We've developed a great Sanctuary committee, which is, I would say, half made up of international students and half of our Irish students as well. And like Michael said before me, I think sometimes the Sanctuary initiative benefits students, the Irish students, almost more in ways because they're learning a lot more about other cultures and things. We have our Sanctuary committee wears a badge. I just have one here. And we came up with the slogan for our committee as CAIM, C-A-I-M, which is an old Irish word, which means sanctuary. It's written there somewhere in the badge. I don't know if you can see it. And this is the symbol also, the CAIM symbol, which is an old Irish, an ancient Irish symbol, which represents sanctuary. It's a circle drawn around the body for protection. So we chose that as our symbol. We actually came up with a competition and one of our Sanctuary committee students designed the badge and we got it made. So that's really nice. So all of our committee members wear that badge, and it's nice to have chosen an old Irish word as well. And the symbol, which represents the exact translation, is sanctuary. So that's what our committee is made up of. Students from, we're a secondary school, so made up of students from every year group. For teachers who may be interested in starting the Sanctuary initiative in their school, I would recommend the transition year students. They're very available And the Sanctuary Initiative is one that can be used as part of their Goshka Award, as part of many of the, as part of Young Social Innovators. That can add up to their hours in that. And it's a great way. They're very available as well. So especially if you're starting on your road to becoming a School of Sanctuary, transition year students are a great resource because they can help you to build up your notice boards, build up your portfolio. Any, as Michael said before me, any tech work, they're very good. And they're very available as well. Like Michael said earlier as well, I find that in our school, we, like us teachers, we don't really have a lot to do at all. If you get the right students on board, and in fact, if you get all students on board and get the message out there, you'll find very willing students, very open-minded students who, like Michael said, can come up with great ideas. We partake in lots of initiatives also, Multicultural Day, International Students' Day. We work closely with Post-Primary Languages Ireland, and we're currently working on their ILAOS, so an intercultural look at our schools. And Humayun asked me a little bit to speak about the share part of it, which we have actually found really beneficial. Sharing, we just keep it simple and share through our portfolio and through our school website. But I found that through that we have started making a lot of connections with the local community. So for example, with Trócaire, we've built up a good connection. We hosted a tapestry that Trócaire volunteers made last year in our school library for all of the community. It was a tapestry about the environmental problems affecting the developing world. So they had 12 little tapestries and we opened it up to the public. And since then, we've developed a good relationship with Trócaire and our local Trócaire volunteer, Joe, who regularly comes in as a guest speaker. We also have developed a good partnership with Westmeath Libraries and our local library, Kilbeggan Library, who just a couple of months ago became a Library of Sanctuary as well. So it's great to have those small things to connect with the local community. We're a very rural school, so we're not going to meet in politicians or anything. We're very rural, so our local area is quite limited, but we feel like we have a good community. And yes, I would say for schools in the Midlands, I don't think we have a lot of schools currently involved with Schools of Sanctuary, but we would love to build up more relationships with other schools. And for anybody who is thinking of starting this journey, I would say that it has been the proudest thing I have done in my career. The joy that I get myself from this work is huge. I know the students themselves. I know our whole school community really has benefited from it in our ever-changing society. I think the way we speak, the way we treat each other, the way we learn from each other, every year we can see our students, our Sanctuary students and our school population in general changing, moving forward, learning from each other, and we're so proud of that. So I put myself available also for any local teachers in the Midlands who would like to contact me or anything. Yeah, and it's not a lot of work. In fact, it's much more enjoyable than any work at all. So thank you, and thank you to Michael and the previous speaker also. I really enjoyed hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. That was a fantastic sharing. And one thing in connection to the principal share regarding Sarah's school, she was part of a monitoring visit in County Laois. And she was able to talk about their school's journey being a champion School of Sanctuary with other teachers. So that's the other thing, teachers get an opportunity to visit other schools and be part of monitoring team and make a decision to award other schools with the champion status. So thank you so much. And having said that, I should say that myself, as someone coming from another country, it makes me feel really proud of living in Ireland, that I can see that you are making Ireland so unique in ways that, you're making Ireland more welcoming, more inclusive, and you're promoting love and compassion through your school initiative. So thank you so much, Sarah, there. At this stage, I'm very happy to invite Olga Janssen. She is a Sanctuary Ambassador, and she originally comes from Ukraine. She's a fantastic contribution to the Holy School of Sanctuary journey. So welcome, Olga. You're possibly muted, Olga. Or maybe she has left. No, I think she's there. Olga, you're muted.
Hi. Hello. Hello. I'm so sorry. I'm in the car and my phone was overheated, so it switched
That's
off.
all right. That's all right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, so sorry. So I will tell you a little bit about my journey as a sanctuary ambassador. So I'm Ukrainian, Ukrainian refugee, and I've been a sanctuary ambassador for 2 years. And I met Tiffy accidentally at one of the Ukrainian meetings, and we started to talk about poetry, about flowers, gardens, and everything. And I said that just when we arrived to Ireland, the next day my children went to school, and Tiffy said that actually, you know that it's School of Sanctuary. I said, oh, wow, it's great, but I had no idea what does it mean. I even didn't know the meaning of the word sanctuary. And then she said, okay, do you want to go and check what does it mean? And it will be a monitoring group for Banskoye Loreto in Gori and Kriya College, also in Gori. And I was really, really interested because I'm not really a fan of Ukrainian educational system. It's really strict, I suppose. And I was really surprised when at the very first day when my children came from school and they were happy and smiling. And it was really surprising for me because I know what does it mean to be bullied, and I know what does it mean to be the new in the class. And then I was really, really surprised. And when we came here, my children had no friends here. And the last year, Sophia, she's 8 now, she invited 24 children for her birthday party. And those children were from different countries. But what is the most surprising for me, that I am, as an adult, I am defining people like, oh, this person is from this country and this is from this country. And for Sophia, there is no difference from which country and what skin color or religion. And I'm not really religious person in general, but it doesn't matter for Sophia at all. And she inspires me to be a better person. And at the moment, after being a 2 years sanctuary ambassador, for me, it's like a journey. I love this word, journey, to become a human, to understand what is important and which values are really needed to be grown in ourselves. So I'm really grateful and appreciated and happy to be sanctuary ambassador. And I'm encouraging people to be humans, to be kind, to have this sanctuary and compassion. And those children who are part of this sanctuary journey are those people who will change the world. I'm sure that I will not change it. It's too late. but they will. And maybe it's my role just to lead, just to follow their dreams and follow my dreams, and yes, to make this world much, much better than it is at the moment. Yes, if you have any questions, please ask me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Olga. Are you finished?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much, Olga,
Thank
for your
you.
significant contribution. Olga has been an amazing support for the Holy School of Sanctuary Network. In fact, she got awarded, along with a few other ambassadors, as Champion Sanctuary Ambassador 2 weeks ago in Chester Beatty Library in Dublin. So thank you so much, Olga. The next
Thank you.
slide, I was expected to talk a little bit about the core elements of learn, action, and share. But just looking at the time, I'm feeling that because we're sharing these slides, I really don't have to talk about them, because there are a few other slides quite important, which we would like to cover, and then possibly leave an opportunity for a brief question and answer. So if you don't mind clicking next, Saif, please. Yeah, these are just the core elements. You will receive slides, additional slides there. Who is speaking on this slide, Saif? Or should I go ahead to talk
I
about
can
it?
do it. Yeah, that's fine. Hi, everyone. My name is Saif O'Connor. I'm new to the School of Sanctuary team. I'm from Tullamore, County Offaly, and I joined School of Sanctuary in June as schools coordinator for Midlands, West and Northwest. So a bit of a large area there. I'm on a break at the moment. I have spent 18 years as a post-primary teacher, and I decided I kind of wanted to move into maybe some other area of education, and have seen myself firsthand in a classroom the need for something like the Schools of Sanctuary across the education system, primary and post-primary. So I'm only delighted to be part of the team, and listening to Mark and Mike and Sarah and Olga just makes me slightly emotional, but also really inspired and really confident that, you know, this is an amazing opportunity, and that it's so important now that we continue to try and grow the network and increase the amount of schools that we have, and, you know, bring that message of belonging and welcome across Ireland. So I'm just going to go through the practicalities, so how we can get started, and the supports and resources that are available to you. So the first thing we do is make sure that your school community understands what Schools of Sanctuary is about. It's your school and it's your journey, so that message comes from you, but the farther and wider you can spread that across your school community, the better. And as the speakers have said, you know, that the Sanctuary Committee is probably the biggest driver of that. So creating your Sanctuary Committee, involving your staff and your students, you can work with them then to spread the message across your school. So when you have the committee and the message spread, you can organise a pledge signing day. So we have a pledge form available on our website, and we encourage you to distribute that as wide as possible that you can across your school community. And I know from speaking to Tiffy and Humayun, they have talked about the pledge signing days as being a great marker to kind of bring School of Sanctuary into your school and make it a day of celebration, so that everyone is totally on board with the journey and what's ahead. And then once that's done, there's a registration form then, and once the registration form is filled out, then you become a member. So once you contact us to express your interest, you become a friend, we call it. And then once the registration form is sent back to us, then you become a member. And then we work with you to get you that champion status. So in terms of resources and support, I know as well as anyone knows that school is so pressurized, it's so busy. So we want to make it as easy as possible for you to implement the Learn, Action and Share across your school. So the first port of call there would be the website. We're currently updating the website, so we hope to launch the new website very soon in the future. But if you go through the website, you'll find an array of resources from packs that will show you and give you ideas about how to implement it in primary schools specifically, how to implement it in post-primary schools specifically. And I heard today we have our first preschool teacher here, and also a Gaelscoil. So that's inclusion in its finest form. So Tá fáilte mór Riv Darina, I think is the name of the preschool teacher. So that's amazing to have expanded that far. But all in that on their website, there's all loads and loads of resources there, and there's all the kind of, you know, the technical stuff you need, like the pledge forms, the link to the registration form, certificates. It's all there. So if you are looking to start the journey, I would advise spending some time navigating around the website and getting yourself familiar with what's on the website. We also host webinar series. So this was the first webinar to kick off this academic year. So we hope to have 2 more webinars kind of between now and Christmas. So on Tuesday, the 8th of October, we're having a webinar we're calling it Stories from Sanctuary Ambassadors. So we have an amazing and absolutely amazing, brilliant team of Sanctuary Ambassadors. And these are spread all over the country. They live in different parts of the country, and they're willing to share their experiences of international protection. And it's just a wonderful opportunity. We had an event at Chester Beatty a couple of weeks ago, and I met a lot of the Sanctuary Ambassadors myself for the first time, and they are just incredible people, and they're willing and they're making themselves available to share their stories with your school and your school community. So the first one of them, we thought we'd have it during the day, because then you can access, you know, the schools, so you can access staff and students. So that's a wonderful opportunity to hear like a lived experience. We hope to have another webinar called Creative and Innovative Ideas after midterm. That would be based around the Sanctuary Committee. So working with them, really trying to get them to know kind of how to come up with their own ideas, how to see through their own ideas, giving them kind of tools that they can use to be creative and to really try and bring that Sanctuary message in a way that suits your school and your settings. As Sarah said, I know I was talking to Sarah about the fact that she has been on her lonesome there a long time in the Midlands. So we hope to create communities of practice. I know myself, coming from a language teaching background, I would have found community of practices vital in my teaching, vital for support. So we hope to create regional communities of practice based on where our schools are, where we can bring the teachers together, and you can share your ideas, you can share your problems or maybe issues that are related to the region. So we hope to get them up and running after midterm. We have a couple of new resources starting from this year. We have a Padlet. So for member and champion schools, you'll all get access to a Padlet, and a Padlet has so many resources. So the very simplest resources to, you know, more maybe advanced or specific resources, I should say. So the Padlet will be password protected, and once you become a member, we'd send that Padlet to you. So it's everything is at hand there. So again, as we said, we know schools are pressurized places. There's no point reinventing the wheel. We have all the resources from our own sources, and also we've pulled from existing champion school Padlets as well, just to give you ideas to get you started. From a management and planning point of view, we have a Planning for Sanctuary and Teaching and Learning document as well available. So, you know, as we've said, and as the 3 champion teachers have said, it's really important to try and get the whole school approach to this, for it to really embed in how your school works every day and from year to year. So we have a document there that will allow you to link the Sanctuary message to make the ethos of schools across lots of patronages around Ireland. We have links to curricular links as well. So if you're looking at a cross-curricular or a whole school approach, we have all the information there collated for you that you can very easily jot into your plans for the year. you know, just making it more concrete and making sure that message is really embedded. And then we have a very simple printable calendar. So again, it marks out those kind of days that you might want to celebrate. International Languages Day, you know, those kind of days are on it that you might want to pick a couple that you can use to celebrate based again on your school needs. And also a calendar of all our events. So any webinars or any training events that are coming up. It'll all be there in a digital calendar that we'll update as we go. And again, we are here. So if there are specific, you know, resources or specific information or specific things that you need, you know, we're here to help you and support you in whatever way suits your school. So
I think you had one more slide, just a screenshot of the PowerPoint.
That's what the Padlet looks like. Yeah. So you get that.
So brilliant. So thank you very much, Saif. I think Caoimhe is going to take lead on this slide and wrap up everything, possibly. Caoimhe, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. So we don't actually have any questions yet in the chat. So I might just suggest if people want to unmute themselves, if you have questions that you'd like
excuse me, Caoimhe. So could I just say one word, do you think?
Of
Sorry,
course.
I don't think the message came through. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Just before we unmute, I realize time is up. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Tiffy. I've been involved in Schools of Sanctuary for a little while now, and I live in County Wexford. One thing that I wanted to say to those of you who are starting up is the magic, and I use that word carefully, of the pledge form that I have seen in so many schools, that when they have a day when the whole school can get involved in making this commitment to being a school of sanctuary and to embedding sanctuary principles into the school, it has an absolutely wonderful effect on the school. Many times a sanctuary ambassador can be arranged to come in, or maybe even two, and share with the school on that day, either in person or by video. But I just want to really recommend that. And if anybody is planning a pledge signing day and you want recommendations, advice, you've seen how willing to help the champion teachers are. There are many, many champion schools, and they can guide you and lead you. So I just wanted to put an emphasis on that. And thank you so much, everyone. I often think if you want a smile to come to your face, listen to a champion teacher and listen to a sanctuary ambassador. And I guarantee you, you won't be able to stop smiling. Bye now.
Thank you, Tiffy, and thank you, everyone. The only question that has come in thus far to the chat is a request for our email, so I've stuck my own and Saif's in there. We would love to stay in conversation with you all. And as mentioned, I think numerous times throughout the last hour, whatever we can do to help to accompany and share both reflections and experiences, but also practical logistical supports on this journey that we're all here as a team very eagerly awaiting. I think the new schools and new representatives that are here today. I might also say or suggest if people have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. And perhaps this can be a more sort of generative, brief discussion. I'm also conscious that people might have to go. So if you do, that is totally fine. And after maybe a few questions, if they arise, we're also sort of going to play you out of this space with a song by a young Afghan asylum seeker in Lesbos in Greece called Elena Yakubi, who sings to a lot of the themes that have emerged today vis-a-vis solidarity and freedom and asylum seeking journeys.
There's been a couple of teachers asking about contact. So I would just ask one of my colleagues to put the contact email in there, but also to assure you that absolutely you can contact us. We're happy to arrange a phone call, a Zoom call with you. And I know somebody was specifically asking if they can contact Mike. Mike, I'm not sure if you're still on the call, but are you there, Mike?
I am, Tiffy, still here.
Now, Can people contact you, Michael?
Yes, they can, of course. Do you want to put my email up, Tiffy? Or I don't know.
Well, I
Maybe
think
even
we have all the emails, so we could send just a mail to everybody after
Perfect.
the webinar with the list of
Yeah.
all the contact details, if that might be handier for everybody.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can put the speaker's contact details. Yeah, yeah. So thanks, Mike. I knew the answer would be yes.
Of course, yeah, no problem.
And I think the same goes for Sarah and Mark as well, and Olga.